Welcome everyone to the finals of 2024 Adelaide Materia Cup. I am joined by the amazing Bloodfist. How you doing, mate?
Going good. Little tired, but that's work life for you.
Yep, our lovely players. We have the Battle of the Daniels.
The
Ghoul
Battle
versus
of the
Coons.
Daniels. Who's got the more powerful Daniel? Is it Australia or is it America? Let's
Well,
find out.
well, at this point, is it South Australia or is it Victoria?
That is true. I just like to sort of put countries behind it because it's a little bit funnier that way.
Oh yeah, we got to give him stuff, but he's become one of us. Like the fact that he. So just to give it clear to everyone who is watching, Daniel has given up everything he has won in NA. When he came down here, he gave up all his invites, all his tickets, all his buys. So he started afresh when he came down here. So he's fighting his way up, which is really good to see. But yeah, he's given up everything and he's accepted that yes, he has to win the Australia stuff from scratch. So he is coming in kind of a little bit behind as well on that for this event or the last few events.
Absolutely. And credit where credit is due. He is putting the effort in to actually, learn what the Australian meta is like, which is absolutely horrifying if you're not used to normal decks. Like if you're used to much more normal decks. Or if you're more like if you just don't generally like know what people's meta is, it's kind of all over the shop from his sort of perspective. And he's actually mentioned that in his reviews. Shout out Ghoul02. How you doing?
Yep,
Um,
definitely. Please check him out.
he- his YouTube channel, he's spoken about Australian meta before, and he considers this place the Wild West of Final Fantasy TCG because we just do whatever we want. And this matchup is actually a fine example of that. So Ghoul is actually back on the Warrior of Light train. We've seen him on stream for the past two games, but on Daniel Coombs' side of the fence is Monsters.
Yeah, which is coming in a surprise appearance. We haven't seen it at all this Materia Cup. Oh, there he is. There's that Mist Dragon that we love to see from Ghoul's side.
Yeah,
Uh,
in this case, it's just a quick early misdragon because it seems like Daniel might have a very proactive hand, or more of a reactive hand, which doesn't actually suit playing against monsters all that well because what's there to react to?
yeah, you're also stuck with two Earth backups, so you're not. You do have the Tyro obviously to fix, but that only fixes one thing at a time. So he is
Yeah,
kind of struggling here. I will say this though about the meta that I believe it was you who said it that this Materia Cup was the first time we've had a Materia Cup that actually looks like the rest of the world.
that is true. That is true.
Our top eight
So
was finally a stable top eight.
yes, yes. So just for some context for the top eight, so we had two mono Earth decks, the Warrior of Light deck, we had a Chaos deck,
Monsters,
um,
obviously, that we're
we
seeing right
had
now.
two versions of monsters, Water Fire Warriors. I think we had another one of those. I think we had a second Chaos deck as well. So we had two Chaos decks.
Yeah, I believe that's about right. And the two monster decks we see are the one we're seeing right now, and the other one was the Witch of the Fens mono water one.
Yeah, so in this particular case, Daniel's going for a much more uh, heavy on the control side. His deck actually only ran eight monsters, like eight forwards total. All of his power came from his monsters.
Yes, and as we see, he's doing the mirror loops. He's getting the zombie tricks out. He's got the Evray now. He's got four backups. And Daniel's just sitting there like, how do I react to nothing? We do have a King
With
Tycoon
three Earth
there.
backups in play.
I believe the King Tycoon should be coming out, but I can't see what the rest of the hand looks like.
I believe I saw an Amaterasu in the hand there, but at the same token, what is there to Amaterasu? So,
Discards Kusith, taps the Tyra for the King Tycoon.
yep, and then he's just going to go ahead and just straight play that Lanner onto field.
I believe he discarded another Lenner. I can't see it right, but yeah.
A
And just
little bit of camera
passes.
glare. We do apologize for that.
Ah, you see all the main stuff. The only time the
The
bin mattered.
Earlier.
The only time the bin matters is when you're playing chaos.
Now that's not true, and you know it.
The only time the being able to see the bin.
Again, that's not true, and you know
I'm not talking about playing. I'm talking
it.
about us. In the
I
game, you
know.
obviously want to look at the your opponent's bin. You want to do a count. They obviously get to review their decks, so they know each other's decks by now, or at least the best they could. That's perfect example. I want to take a look at what I got rid of.
That's very true. I believe one of the cards that was removed from game was a hippocampus. So here we're going to use the anima to search for a 2-cost monster to put onto field.
I believe that is correct. Grabbing the
And
Adamos.
here comes the Atmos. So a little context on Daniel Coombs' deck. He is playing three colors, straight three colors. So it is actually like a relatively even split between the water, the wind, and the earth.
I assume though he cheats out the wind part of the deck.
No, actually, he has enough wind cards that he can actually hardcast a lot of the cards there.
Yeah, but he doesn't run any backup sources besides maybe a Tyro. Does he
So
even
he
run the
does
Tyro?
run copies of Shototo in this list, but he's also running, interestingly enough, the 5-drop King Tycoon, which says bounce all of your opponent's forwards and monsters.
Oh, that is actually an
And
interesting tech.
and
Matoya to
here we
Exile
see another
Bin.
piece of interesting tech, which is the Matoya, which is going to go ahead and exile Ghoul's Bin there.
Doing some calculations here.
We're just working out exactly what number cast this is. So we're just going to go ahead and use the mirror to turn the Atmos indestructible. And there we go. So we were just concerned that the Matoya wasn't actually the second cast, it was the first cast. So
Yeah.
we're going to just crack the mirror and play a new one that we already searched for and pick up the Silver Dragon. And see, there you see a copy of Doned, and it looked like Stiltskin there as well. So there is plenty of backups in the deck that are wind.
Okay. That was what I was curious about. But yeah, we got ourselves the Silver Dragon to start protecting our monsters. It's very
There's
interesting. They're both
a lot
building.
going on. Hmm. So there's a lot. It doesn't look like there's much happening, but there's actually a lot going on both board states. So here we just see
You
the
see the
Warrior
Warrior
of
of
Light
Light.
coming down to play.
Obviously, you got to be careful of the damage factor. You put him on damage 3. That Adamos is now a forward. And just will start
Yep.
generating value out the wazoo.
Yeah. So what he's done as well is he's used the Ingus to give 1k power to the Warrior of Light as well. Here comes the Brefier.
Yep. Kill the
Um,
mirror.
Gonna go ahead and shoot the mirror.
Activate 4. Draw a card. And get some sneaky damage in. We see that he does have the Faris in hand, but without forwards, that Faris is fairly not going to do anything.
Mm. I will note as well that this match also happened in the Swiss rounds. It was round 5. The Daniels played off against each other. And it was actually Daniel Coombs that came out on top of that one.
So I assume Daniel Gullius got in there at the top in the breakers. It was a
So,
number of people
so
equal top to get the first place in Swiss.
correct. So Gould came first, but Daniel Coombs on the other side came second. So this is actually a true first versus second final.
Oh, it's rare we have that. We usually have the Swiss curse hit us.
We usually have it the other way around, where it's seventh versus eighth,
Yeah. So this is
just
very
for a bit of a
interesting.
laugh.
Fun fact again,
Yeah.
Australia, Wild Wild West.
We do what we want, when we want, how we want. Nothing y'all can do to stop us.
Just
Uh,
replicating our wildlife in card form. There's the Toto.
yep. So here comes the Shintoto, and here comes the Amaterasu, I would say.
No,
Oh, interesting. Just letting it happen. Did he happen to pitch the Amaterasu early?
maybe.
He may have. But that Shintoto is now going to give Daniel Coombs all of his colors, which will be very useful for the rest of the game here.
And that Anima does break, so he's got a breakable backup if he wants to play something else. He's got, yeah, all access to all his colors. He just reset Ghoul's board.
Now, very interesting to note here is he actually didn't use the Evray to untap the Shintoto. So he had access to be able to do that, but he has opted not to, which is a very interesting call because that meant he would have had access to everything available to him during Ghoul's turn.
Ghoul looking like he's just going for another Mist Dragon. Just trying to dig for cards. Getting rid of the Faris. Oh, no.
So he's playing the Barsh here, so he can go ahead and take a point of damage, which is a Lev 6, which
doesn't.
normally is an incredibly powerful card, but in this scenario, it's actually probably one of the worst cards you could hit because Ghoul's got no break zone there.
Yeah, no
But
break
he's
zone and
just
nothing
going
to
to search and play
bounce.
a wall.
Just ignoring the existence of that Lev.
Yeah,
But at
but
least he's.
search and play a wall was going to be really helpful.
But he has reset his board. Like, he doesn't have the ref here, but he has the two forwards out. Same general power and toughness. Same situation. So he is sort of reset his game.
That is
So,
true. It is also important to note that Daniel's deck, being a monster deck, is absolutely jam-packed full of sweepers
yep.
because they all play one-sided. Uh, if there's any
So,
uh, if there's any special PSA for the 8-drop Neo X deck, this would be it.
is it specifically the Neo X Death that's in the deck, or does he have any other ones?
So Daniel does Mr. Coombs on the left-hand side there. He does have access to not just the Shintoto, but he has access to Hekatonkaya, the 5-cost summon,
Yep.
and
Which
he has
is.
access to Shinryu.
Alright, so we got a few options here. Shinryu's kind of not going to work right now because Ghoul is only on two forwards. Ah, there's the zombie.
Here we see the zombie. He's going to go for the Mist Dragon though to try and get rid of all of those mirrors that we know are
Yeah.
in the bin there.
I believe there's only two in the bin. I don't know if he's exiled one already.
Still more than enough.
Yeah.
We don't want to see any loops of that.
Oh, no.
Uh,
Oh,
but
but search for a zombie. Get back the
he's going to
mirror.
crack and play play a zombie from deck, so he's going to get back at least one mirror. See, that's the thing about those Animus backups. You can activate them at instant speed, and we're seeing the end results of how good that actually is in this scenario here.
Oh, that
So
card
now he
is
actually is going to get back
brilliant.
a mirror.
He's picking the foil one over the non-foil one.
Yeah, always get the shiny one.
Yep.
So now the Mist Dragon will resolve,
Yep.
eat the rest of the break zone there.
Then technically the second zombie resolves, no legal target, and it fizzles.
Yep. But now here's the fun situation: is we can go ahead and cast the mirror as our second spell, which lets the Atmos do its thing. And then we've still got Evray to untap a third backup.
Yeah, just that Adamos Evray combo was so. When Evray was first spoiled, everyone's like, "Oh, just giving win to all the untaps."
I still remember the reaction that Atmos got from Mr. Cool Alex Hancock's.
Oh, there goes the
But
free
here
one
we've got a
cost.
Gap. It's going to send the Warrior of Light to the bottom of the deck. Atmos is going to go ahead and untap two backups. So here we see the board state starting to get a lot wider, a lot larger.
And all monsters something Ghoul cannot respond to.
So one of the big advantages of having so many Earth backups in play is that you do have access to the Limit Break Shintoto.
The one problem with that for the Refia deck is getting the Earth CP aligned.
Under normal circumstances, yes, but we'll keep in mind that there are three
Earth sources right
Earth
now.
backups. There's three Earth backups in play. So realistically, Ghoul only needs to have two Earth cards in his hand to make it work because he can tap the two backups that are not Earth, pitch the Earth card, play the Shintoto, and then tap the three Earth backups and pitch the other Earth card.
Yes, this is the best spot to be in for that Shantotto.
The question becomes whether or not he pulls the trigger.
It looks like there's that Amat in hand he needed a while ago.
So in this particular scenario, it could be worth just trying to run the Barsh in just to sort of say, okay, let's try and get the 3 point of damage or put the Barsh into the break zone if
Well,
you
it's
know
not
that you're
going
going to
to.
Shintoto.
It's most likely going to have the mirror sack Infi block with the zombie, but then he might as well just be exiling it. But I guess in response to Shantotto, you can crack that mirror to put it into the bin anyway, so I guess there's no
So
difference there.
that scenario, it doesn't make a great deal of
Yeah,
difference how that happens. It just comes down to whether or not you want to put your own Barsh into the break zone.
well, it won't. If it's something weaker, they'll just stare at each other.
That's also true. Um, in addition to that, both players are at damage two at the moment, so there's no real threat to life totals at the moment, with the exception of Daniel Coombs having quite a sizable board state. And in addition to that, Daniel might want to go to damage three so he can start switching on the Atmos and getting a whole bunch of extra CP during the turn.
Which is why I'm worried that that attack then would be a bad idea. And Daniel
That
will
is
be
also
thinking.
true, but if you
Daniel
are
will be
going to
thinking
just
about
go
that.
ahead and lose, yeah, if you are going to go ahead and just lose the entire board anyway, then it may not make a great deal of difference. And we do have a pretty sizable grip of cards from Ghoul's side of the fence.
Both seem to have a good hand right now, so that's why it's like sort of anyone's game. Five
Okay.
for
So we're gonna
Terra.
go get the Terror. Looks like we're gonna try and pick up a Mist Dragon, it seems. Or maybe just
No, he
the
got back the
Amaterasu.
Ami. Yeah, it looks like he had to discard the Ami for the red source because he didn't tap the Tyro.
He didn't tap the Tyro. He's probably trying to just keep that up.
Discard
Now, since
Sarah for
they all
turn.
know Decklist, that's a discard and pass.
That the Refia deck does that a lot, and it's not the worst situation to be in.
See, my thought process then would have been, why not have just tapped two less backups and just left four backups open? Why tap three backups, pitch one card if you know you're going to discard at the end of turn?
Card draw. Yep, go ahead. Not gonna am at that.
There's no need to
No need to. No, I agree.
Amaterasu that.
You know, as the player that knows that opponent has an Amat in hand, you're always like that, a little bit hopeful of, will you Amat this? Come on, are you sure? Please?
Well, on one hand, I do agree that that's something to keep in the back of mind. The big concern at the moment is how much can Ghoul actually bait out? Because if he can bait out more monsters, the,
That Shantotto will be a lot more effective.
the Shintoto play becomes a lot more enticing.
Now, I'm also wondering, is Ghoul also only playing two forwards at a time to try and dodge the Shinryu?
He does know that the Shinryu is in the deck. Okay, so
Exactly.
here comes the Evray. We're gonna go tap three. We're gonna play Stiltskin.
Grabbing, I assume. What's the one cost monster? Oh.
Right. Can get a
Oh.
one cost forward as well, which is going to be that mirror. And that also is two casts, so the Atmos will untap two of the backups, which means if we want to, we can cycle yet another mirror.
That's very risky, though. You do know that Ghoul has Mist Dragons, and you've already lost one to the Exile Zone.
That is also true. But how many Mist Dragons are left? We've got to keep in mind because Daniel is also running Mist Dragons of his own, and you can see a fair amount of the break zone from Ghoul has actually gone into exile.
Oh, I think there was a Mist Dragon in damage on uh, Coom's side.
That also is very fairly likely as well. But we'll need to just see exactly what happens here.
Monster board too wide. Monster board too wide. Oh, go to discard as well. Get rid of the Shinryu in hand.
Wow,
Both players are just holding the line. No one's willing to blink first.
there's a whole lot of non-committal here,
Oh,
and
it's
Ghoul
swinging.
knows that there is no Shintoto here, so I think he's going to go ahead and pull the trigger on it. So he's going to, yeah. So we're going to make the zombie unbreakable,
Oh, I think he
and
blocked. I think he blocked with
blocked
Mira
him
and then
into
sacked it.
yeah, yeah, and then we go ahead and take that point of damage. Um, and once again, Ghoul knows that there's no fear of any reprisal of an Amaterasu or anything like that because there's
Aman
no
in the deck.
Amaterasus in the deck.
Looks
Okay,
like we're
here we
going
go.
for it.
This seems like it would be the Shintoto play,
Yep.
and he's reached for the limit break. Here comes the Shintoto. All the limit breaks gone. Here comes the extra Earth, and let's go ahead and pack all of those monsters away.
Oh, two Amats in hand. Two
So at
Amats
the
and an
very least,
Arc.
yeah. So at the very least, Ghoul is protected from any sort of particularly special plays going forwards. But here comes the mirror. So here we can just pick up the Araman and just go ahead and break the Shintoto. Question is whether or not Ghoul wants to Amaterasu that play. If it comes down to it, which is
I
it may very
think.
well be worth doing that.
I was gonna say maybe not, but we'll see what happens.
Well, you just from Coombs's perspective, he's just seen his opponent get rid of all of his resources from limit break, so there's no worry about that anymore.
Nope, he
And
just
he's
lets it
just let
go.
the
Yeah.
just let it to go. Now it's not easy to actually switch on that Araman in this deck because there's only the Gao and the Shinryu really that can switch it on. Although we did notice that there is a Cerberus, so if the Cerberus gets switched
I was gonna
on,
say I think there
then
was
the Araman can switch on as well.
yeah, I was gonna say I couldn't remember the name of it, but it was the wind monster. So going for the Arc.
Yeah, he's just using it to untap the three backups. He's just using it as a 2 CP 8K in this
Yep.
case. He just needs pressure. He needs
Well, he has
forwards in
Refia
play,
in hand, so he could always just pay the 3 to play the Refia now.
which looks like it's going to be the call.
Yep, he has 4 untapped, so he'll be able to tap the 4 to tuck the mirror, and untap 4 to
Looks like it's
draw
the
a
game
card.
plan.
Yep.
Let's go send it to bottom. Yep, sending that to the bottom.
Move to combat, untap
Untap
5,
and then
draw a
draw another
card.
card. That's a Zidane.
Oh, that would have been so good pre-combat, but now it's probably not worth it.
Not in this scenario.
And now if anything turns that Araman on, it's going away. Discarding a card to that Tomberry is also useless. More
Yeah,
monsters.
this is the fun part with Coombs's deck though. Because it attacks from a completely different axis than what a lot of other decks are used to combating. it's kind of hard to like. It's very much a struggle to sort of keep the pressure on and like take forwards away or anything like that because there's like everything sort of dodges removal. It dodges sweepers.
Yeah, and obviously with Daniel on 5 backups, none of them breakable, he can't play a backup Shintaro anymore, so he is out of board wipes for monsters. Asking what to do, I believe it's just like it only works during my turn, so
Only works during main phase. So here we're just going to see the Hecaton play.
yeah.
Gets rid of the two forwards. So Coombs knows that the Breathier Warrior of Light decks don't run a great deal of forwards. So the more forwards that he kills, the less likely that Daniel's going to be like Ghoul is going to
Have a
draw
win con.
forwards of his own. But
Yeah.
here comes that Zidane, and that's a double Shinryu.
You gotta get rid of the Shinrys, I assume.
You've already seen one go to
The bin.
break zone from discard,
Oh,
but he's
his.
hitting the Hippocampus.
I guess if you're on one forward, you don't care, or if you're gonna play the second Terra, you don't care.
So the question now becomes, is it worth going for an attack here?
Well, Coombs does have the blockers for it, and one of them is a death touch.
It is. It is. And it looks like it is good to go for the attack. Uh, so it's likely to
The
taking the Tross,
Tross.
which is also another good call because that Tross can get very annoying very
Just taking
quickly.
that damage. And that looks like it's thinking about passing. Yep, straight pass. I need the red source
Mm.
because I need the red source for the Amat.
Yeah. And Coombs is not really in a spot where it's a particular bother or anything like that to be taking points of damage. The only time that he's actually really worried about damage now is the preventing the seventh point.
I think that's the case in most games. People do forget that life is a resource, and sometimes you just go to 5 or go to 6.
I think the biggest concern from that perspective is the fact that damage is used as a tiebreaker in this particular format because it is a best of one game.
Oh, this is untimed, so we are looking for a result, so it doesn't apply to this situation.
It doesn't apply to this spot, no.
But yes, it is a
But that's
tiebreaker in timed top cuts. Alright,
and
what's
not
the
just in
play
top
here?
cuts either. It's also a tiebreaker in Swiss standings as well. So here comes another Tom Merry, which is going to go ahead and draw a card.
That deck is looking very low to me.
That's one of the concerns about the monster deck, and or most of the monster decks for that matter,
Here
is
comes the
how many
Amat.
cards they draw. And I do think we're going to go ahead and see an Amaterasu to try and stop that zombie from getting getting those mirrors back.
Alright, about 8 cards I counted. Did he just put it back up in his hand? Oh, yep, he did. Okay, cool. They fixed it. Uh,
So we are still very much contemplating the Amaterasu, or the alternative is let Coombs get back the mirror, let him play the mirror, let him draw another card. It will mean that Coombs has got a lot of cards in his hand and he's able to take full advantage of that. But at the same token, Ghoul can just go like aim to go for a mill out game plan.
yeah, like at this point, if you're such low forwards, you're not going to win on damage. Maybe you go for the alternative.
In addition to that, the Zidane also forces your opponent to draw a card whenever you rip a card out of hand. So that's another way to sort of mitigate.
Yeah, but with that board state, I don't think that Zidane is going to get many free attacks in.
I don't think he's really worried about getting free attacks.
There's
I think he's more worried
Cerebus.
about that. There is the Cerberus, but Cerberus is not going to do very much. The Atmos, however, is going to do a lot.
So 6 cards left in deck. It looks like. It's going for the Adamos. Interesting. I would have wondered if the Cerberus was worth it just to turn on the Araman.
So the Cerberus can only switch itself on if you've cast two or more cards this turn.
Oh, but he had the gal. That's yeah.
So Gal, here comes the Amaterasu at this stage, surely.
Yeah.
Oh no, he's
No.
just going to let it happen. That's a bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off.
I'm curious what the play is here.
And he's just going to go ahead and pass.
There's Une, so he's got Terra and Une now.
So the big concern is what is the Une going to bounce? Because the only cards that are even worth bouncing are all going to be valuable.
Well, I would bounce the card draws, but you can't. You can't even bounce. No, he's only got the forwards as the targets.
So he can bounce the mirror and
Or
then
the
probably
gal.
the epic. Well, I would probably bounce the mirror in
Mirror,
this
yeah.
situation, and then probably bounce the epitaph because I don't think there's any more FFCC forwards to search for in the deck. In fact, there isn't any. It's just mirror. So bouncing mirror epitaph means that it turns a 3 CP backup that searches into a 3 CP evoker. We're just doing a little bit of
Quick math.
mathematical juggling at the moment. Now, Ghoul has got maximum information right now because he knows that there's two Shinryu stuck in hand.
Oh, going
Oh, so we're going
for.
to go for a Lev 6. We're going to bounce, and then we're going to pick up
I'm
perhaps a
guessing
Warrior of Light.
Refia?
It's
No,
picking up a
Refia.
Rapier. Now, that's a very interesting call, especially pitching the three cards that he has.
Especially
So
since.
he's
Oh,
just
it's
going to
going to sack it.
sacrifice the mirror to make the Tomberry unbreakable.
We're thinking there.
So I'm sort of questioning whether or not we want to play the Rapier out.
I'm wondering, was there a Warrior of Light, 4 color Warrior of Light in bin?
It may have gotten, well, we definitely know
Exiled.
that one got tucked away. The other one might have gone into exile. So he got playing the Rapier. And I think at this stage, he's going to use the Rapier ability to send the
The
Gal to the
Gal.
bottom of deck.
Well, that's the trouble. You're now. Well, I guess it's one card, but you're basically filling your opponent's deck up, but you are getting a card draw out of it, so
You're getting to
they're
draw a
still on
card.
odd. You're putting them on odd numbers, which is not the worst. Oh, got the Lena, but he just played the card he probably would have wanted to Lena.
If there's a Faris in the break zone, then that's also worth something as well.
Yeah, he gets rid of one monster.
Well, the thing is, you can let the first Tomberry switch on and swing, and then the second one switch on, and then before it gets to swing, you can just Lena back the Faris and kill both the Tomberries.
There's the Terra. Getting back
So probably go ahead and pick
Mist
up that Mist Dragon
Dragon.
and cast it. So we're going to exile the break zone for 1 CP
Draw
and
a
draw a
card.
card.
Yep, not worrying about. So this is probably the most vulnerable spot Ghoul is right now. Yes, he has 2 forwards, but he can't cast the Amat. He can't Refia.
So
This is
this is
where
another very shields down situation. But when you talk about shields down, there's also the sheer lack of cards that are
full
in
Shinryu.
Boone, Boone's deck at the moment, and yeah, we're just having a look at what's left. Not a lot
Six
is the
cast
answer to that
shit.
question. But he's gonna
Uh,
go ahead and get the gal.
but yeah, full cast Shinryu. Oof. But I guess yeah, if it starts getting you value,
Boones did not want to do that, but here comes the gal. So we're gonna send the terror away. Important to note that that means it doesn't get its death trigger,
yep.
so it doesn't get to pick up another summon. So now we are going to start attacking. So the Atmos is going to come in and activate the entire back line. So the question now becomes, does school block? And I think it would be worth it. Although,
No, no, I think you take a few points of damage, especially to put yourself to 3.
at the very least, a three, yeah.
I think he's fine to take it.
So the problem now is the Gao can then just immediately turn one of the forwards into an AK.
Kukal and the Gao.
But
Well, not anymore.
that's not going to happen now. So the
And a
Ku Cullen,
wall off the top. If he survives this,
so the Aramon is switching on.
I think you just take this one as well.
You can
Oh
take this one
no,
and switch off the
the
Shinryu as
Shinryu,
well.
which is dangerous because now he has Amaterasu. Shinryu special.
He's going to use the Shinryu special to get the Raffia out of the way. I'm going to find out how he's. Oh no, he can't because it's got no text box.
It's got no. Yes, that's correct. So can't do it.
No text box.
And you can am at
Yeah.
the Tonberry trigger now.
He can indeed, just to be really spicy.
Hey, if it stops you from dying, you do it.
That is true. Seems like still in combat. We're going to use the Hecaton.
Stick it on.
So that's going to kill all of the 8Ks. It's going to kill the Atmos. It's going to kill the Ahriman. And it's going to kill the Gal.
Yeah,
But because that was mid-combat, there's still three
attackers.
attackers for 2 points of damage. So we're going to go ahead and switch on a Tomberry. And then we can switch on the zombie or switch on the Tomberry for the last point.
Lethal. Yep. He's just checking if there's anything I can do.
I mean, you can hardcast the Levy 6, but we just got to let it happen. And
Yep.
there we go. That's the first game.
Game 1 to Coombs.
So there we can actually see how much power there is in having forwards that can attack but can't be removed. They can't be interacted with because that was pretty much a lot of what happened in the game. And exactly the same thing happened in the Swiss pairing, the Swiss standings as well. Uh, Ghoul just could not interact with much of what Coombs was doing.
Well, I always said that Monsters has never inherently gotten weaker over time. The issue was during Monsters peak was people just started to tech against it. Like people just put all the anti-monster stuff in because they were facing more of them. You know, you were guaranteed to verse half the room with monsters during that period. So as soon as those anti cards became relevant, the deck started to die. And that's what
Yeah,
forsaken it. But it still is as strong as it ever was. It just depends on whether the room you're playing in has the anti. And right now, everyone is antiing. Everyone's scared of chaos. Everyone's scared of Hiflo. Everyone's scared of mono water. Everyone's scared of Witch of the Fens. So
and no one's
and
scared of monsters.
no one's scared of monsters. And Witch of the Fens, I know I said that, and that is a monster deck. But that is a monster deck that sacks its own monsters. So killing them doesn't really hurt if they're using them in response.
Yeah, as Ghoul himself calls it, it's the Tori Kelly test, right?
Yep.
Like how much are you going to be able to tech against a
So
deck that's just full of monsters?
So we're about to see one of the most painful plays. This is the one Ghoul was talking about on his video. His legendary painful play. Yep, discard 6 for Tyro to
Turn
grab a
one,
fire
Tyro
card.
into Bosch so he can just get some more backups into play.
Yep.
That does hurt the soul to see, but if you've got to do what you got to do, then you got to do what you got to do. So
Yeah, it just I've had it because I play the Refi deck a lot as well. I just sometimes, even though you know you have all the backups, you don't get the backups.
yeah, I believe actually both decks in this matchup are running around the 17-18 backup mark. There's a lot of backups from Coombs as well, but he isn't also running that many forwards either.
No.
So he's basically mitigating the cost of running a high backup count by not running many forwards, but running a lot of monsters, which turn into forwards.
There's the Epitaph, our good king of the deck. Straight passing.
So we're
Our
gonna go ahead and oh, did he?
wait, did he?
No,
There we go. There we
the
go. They
bar.
they worked it out. They worked it
Yeah,
out.
we actually have to legally play the Bosch. Imagine if Tyro was so strong it actually played the forward to field.
What a promo that would have been. And he overpaid for the Luneth. Again, another painful
Likely no
play.
choice in this situation. This is probably one of the other downsides that's not all that mentioned that much for the Refia decks. It is a hard four-color deck. It needs all four of its colors.
Yep.
So if you get color locked out, then what can you do?
Yeah, this is just looking like Coombs's game.
Now you can always say it. It is Coombs' game to lose.
Yep.
Zombie pick up the mirror. So let's get that sweet sweet zero CP. And that's another thing that the monster deck has actually gained over time. It's gotten a lot of monsters that, even though they have a cost written in that top left-hand corner, they actually cost zero.
I'm at this. Oh,
Fast for the it's the Amaterasu into damage. So and they go ahead and
grab an
fetch a
Earth back
trial
up.
so we can go pick something up. Like it does hurt to see the deck end up doing that to itself. So he's going to go ahead and play the Cryo because he just needs the backups.
Yep. He's gonna get back a Mist
Cryo
Dragon, I believe.
looks like he's picking up a Mist Dragon, yeah.
Just have at me. Good thing is though, even though the deck is uh, doing this right now, the monster deck doesn't actually rush in. So he's got the time. He's just bleeding resources.
While it's true that he's sort of got time on his side a little bit, on the flip side of the coin, uh, the monster deck can generate a board state that goes from 0 to 7 in one turn.
And are we about
It
to see
doesn't.
that?
That is indeed the question.
Got Lot Bunny. So many cards in hand. Oh, believe that
We
might.
usually say the words buried in card advantage, but in this situation, it very well may be true.
Yep.
It's at the same token, though, Coombs does know that there is a Mist Dragon in the hand there.
Which is probably why he's being a bit more hesitant on what he discards and what he doesn't discard.
So Silver Dragon for the Ab Race, and then he's go ahead and untap onto the backups, which looks like is the Loperate.
I assume to play another backup. Oh no, that's looking like I'm down to 5 cards. I should pass. Yep, it
That's
is.
that's an amusing situation there.
Oh,
Like at
so
that stage, it's basically playing cards for the sake of playing cards. But here comes the Zidane.
Zidane.
It's
Get
likely
rid of
going to have to rip the
Mirror.
mirror. Uh, and then we can go on in and probably rip the Mist Dragon. So here comes the Bosch. So it looks like they hit a Gal. I believe it did hit a
Yeah,
Gal.
that hit a Gao. That's a hard choice. Yep, the Gao.
There's only two of those in the deck. Oh, and there goes the other Gal. So that's no fear of the threat of Gal for
He also hit.
rest of the game.
He also hit a Hekatonki air in damage, which is good to see for Ghoul.
Yeah, especially considering that the deck goes, it's got 7K, 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 and then 10K. There's no real middle ground there.
Also, for anyone who is watching this, this is going to be a very long matchup. So if you want to pause and get yourself a drink, have intermission, this is the best time to do it.
It most certainly is. This might not just because we know the length of we know the length of the game, but at the same token, we are talking about two decks that do enjoy going for the longest of long games.
Yeah, and I think this is another really key point that we were talking about on the day, that this game isn't just about your skill level and your lines and the math. It also is an endurance game. We are coming into round, or probably game 12 for some of these players.
So
6 Swiss,
we did we had
two
five
best of
rounds of
threes.
Swiss. So thinking just from Ghoul's perspective, he played 5 games worth of Swiss during the day, and then he's played 2 games worth of Top Cut in at the quarters, and then 2 more games of Top Cut in the semis. So just there is 9 games. Um,
Probably more if they went
and
to a
that's
best of threes, and I think some of them were best of
absolutely,
threes. So that's
absolutely.
minimum.
Yeah, so there's a reasonable chance that this is probably this is definitely Ghoul's 11th game today, and
And I assume
Coombs
it's
is
the
probably
same. Yeah,
looking at
same.
Coombs is probably looking at 12th or 13th even.
So both players are probably very tired right now. Both players are very exhausted. And now they are playing the grindiest game of their life after all that. So yeah, having that endurance, being used to playing long games, being used to doing long days is very important. It is something that I will personally say that I struggle with, staying on track after all that time.
Absolutely. So here's the Tross, which will be a live forward uh, come the next turn if the attacks go through.
Well, both the Tross and the Atomos.
That's true as well.
Guess they're calculating something.
They might just be asking
Which cast
some.
it is. I think they're working out
Well,
which cast, but he untapped one back up. He didn't untap two.
so that was the use of the Evray there,
That was
untapping
Evray.
the
Ah,
one
okay.
back up. Yeah. So there's a Warrior of Light and a Lev 6 as the troll step for Ghoul. That's
He's drawn all his levs, which I don't know if is a bad thing in this matchup, actually. You kind of don't want to see them in bursts.
it was one of the situations where normally it's the best burst in the deck, but it's now the worst burst in the deck.
Yeah. And yeah, just some thinking, calculating, how do I get through this? Do I just push in? Do I try and
So it looks like
endure?
we are just going
Yeah.
to go ahead and go into combat. So here comes the Bosch,
You just take the damage here because you want to be on 3. There's a Mist Dragon,
and
that's
they're going
good.
to Moose Dragon. So what is Zidane going to hit today?
Yeah.
See, I personally would have done these attacks the other way around. Let the Zidane get in first because that way at damage 3, you're not worried about trading the Bosch for anyone at Atmos or Tross.
Well, I think he wants to trade. You want to trade at this point.
So there's a
Amat.
Shintoto,
Oh, sorry,
but
Shantotto.
we do know that
Mist
but we are
Dragons.
going for the Mist Dragon here, which is actually a
And
very
I
good
think he
call
just drew
because if
another
you know that
Toto.
if you know that your opponent has a Shintoto,
Yeah.
so he's going to go ahead and make one of Tross or Atmos unbreakable for the turn, and then use that to block the Zidane.
Looks like your
And that was
prediction came
that
through.
was that was the exact play that I was concerned about because the Zidane is probably the more valuable card because it gives you information, it puts pressure on, and it's just a really annoying, really hard card to block and or get rid of, even for a monster deck. But it looks like Ghoul is valuing the Barsh a little bit more.
Could just be the bigger body. He's going for damage this game. He knows he can't win the long run. He's bled too many resources. But That being said, though, one of those levies is coming out next this turn, and it is going to get rid of a monster.
Potentially.
That or that Amat, actually. I think there is an Amat in hand, isn't there? Because
Yeah,
both.
so the Bosch is a larger body, but only after damage 3, which Ghoul is decidedly not at. So here we could see some limit break, just a little Leela. Let me just go ahead and draw a fresh card there. I don't think that's Shintoto.
Yeah, I've got the one in hand.
So this is where the sort of thought process comes in with the swapping of the attacks, because I have actually seen and faced people that are so put off or annoyed by a Zidane that they just
I was going to
like thank
Amat the
you.
zombie.
No, that's a Mist Dragon,
It's a
actually.
Mist Dragon, is it? I couldn't see it.
Yes, because you see the break zone
Yeah,
is
yeah,
now
break zone
gone.
gone, yeah.
Yeah. So
I was looking at
that's
the wrong
that's
bin.
yeah. Absolutely. So that's sort of what I was thinking about before. Like, I've actually seen and faced people that are so annoyed by just a Zidane in play that they will Shintoto just the Zidane just to get rid of it.
Oh,
Whereas
that.
Barsh on this board state is not really doing anything.
We got two. It looks like it's two Warrior of Lights. Two Warrior of Lights, two Levs, Une, Tyro.
So a full grip of cards that don't really do much.
But a lot of Earth, which might be the path you take here.
Comes down to whether or not you are actually interested in pulling the trigger. But we are going to go ahead and attack with the Barsh. Leo's just going to jump under the bus on that one. Leo's done his job. We
Yeah,
don't care.
yeah.
We are just
There
going to
we
pull
go.
the Toto trigger.
Yeah, when I saw all that Earth, I'm like, yeah, there's one real option here, to be honest.
And now do we see a Shintoto on the Shintoto?
I don't think you do.
I would agree with that. I don't think you would either. Unless you are genuinely concerned about the ability to deal with a 9K forward.
Like, Coombs' issue was he had a lot of cards in hand that he already had on the field. Now that issue's gone, so I think you just rebuild. And you're not in a rush. The only thing that's hurting right now is he doesn't have many wind sources, so I think that Animos in hand might not be castable.
Well, that's also a reason to actually just hard play the Shintoto just by itself, because not only does it get rid of a forward, but it also gives you that win CP to start playing the game again.
And
And
you
it
might
looks
be
like that's
right.
exactly what we're seeing. Look at
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, not being able to cast that Animos was the crucial clinch there. Oh, here comes Sarah FFL.
The question now becomes, do we just pitch 3 cards for it? Which may very well be the situation. No, we're just going to
No,
go
I
ahead
don't
and
think
tap
so.
2 backups and pitch a Lev 6
Levy and
and a
Faris.
Faris.
Well, you want a Faris in bin for Cryo Bursts.
And for Arc for that matter as well.
Yeah.
But here we can just go ahead and get a Refia and probably a Warrior of the yes, absolutely. Warrior of Light. You do have your colors online now, thankfully.
Yeah, the problem is he's going to have to go to discard. Unless he just plays that Refia out.
It's not unreasonable to
Yeah,
just go ahead and play
that's
the
what I'm
Refia out
wondering.
in this situation, because you do get to untap 3 backups. One of which happens to be fire for for any potential Amaterasu.
Yeah, so I don't think that's the wrong move. And yep, there he goes.
And we go ahead and go to combat, we untap the 3 backups, and we just pass the turn.
Yep, that's.
No reason to rush or anything, but we're currently in a situation where we're not only holding up a potential Refia play, but we're also holding up an Amaterasu. and then next turn we can just go ahead and go for it. So here
Yep,
comes that
there's the
moss.
Amos. Yeah, I was fairly sure he had the Win CP for a second there, but when he didn't drop the Atamos, I'm like, okay, maybe the Shantotto was the better move for that.
Here comes the
Oh,
Hippocampus. So
he,
another nice piece of high impact sweeping that you can do during your opponent's turn.
it is only
So
cleave
what
3
the
at the moment, so it's not too much of a threat, but that can still do a lot of
it,
damage.
it generally considers a threat in a monster deck purely because there's so much cheap stuff. There we go.
There
Here comes
goes
the
the
Warrior of
Warrior of
Light.
Light. And there's a Faris in hand as well, but again, useless in this
Yep.
matchup.
Go ahead, draw a card.
There's another
Hooray,
Refia.
hooray. At the very least, he's got a
He's got the
spare
reset.
Rapier.
Yeah, he's got the reset ready when he takes in that board wipe again. But no targets for a tuck. Is it just swing in?
Oh no, we're gonna just go ahead and
Oh,
just play the Faris out. We understand that he may very well be walking into a Shinryu here, but I genuinely don't think he cares at this stage. He just needs to put pressure on.
yeah, he also gets to
So
shoot itself, so he gets the 4 untap, which gets him a card
let's
draw.
go ahead and draw a card. And we're just double checking the Faris here that
Yep.
the ping has to happen to opponent's forwards. So we're gonna go ahead and put Coombs on to damage 5 here.
I don't think we go to 6. I don't think you use the Lunith. I think you hold up your protection.
You do hold up not just your protection, but also your
Your tuck.
ability to your ability to use Raffia's action ability here.
Oh, no, he is doing it.
Ah,
Ooh,
I don't think he's all
I
that
was
concerned
wrong.
about it.
Yeah, I'm surprised. I was fairly sure you just keep up the protection.
But I can understand why he's doing what he is doing because he can go ahead and it's not even a trade for the Atmos. The only monster he's going to trade with in that situation is the Hippocampus.
Just
So we
taking
are going
it.
to go ahead and go to 6 points of damage. One thing that's important to note is that Coombs' deck, being a monster deck, has barely any EX bursts in it. So there's no real
Go to
threat or
discard.
worry from that
Yep.
concern. I discarded a Kuchulin, I believe.
I thought that was a Sarah FFL.
It could have been.
Because I would have discarded that Kryl in hand before I would have discarded a Kukullan.
That's also fair as well.
Also, in this current situation, barring instant speed removal, which I don't think Coombs has, he can Titus next turn and get that lethal swing in. Am I not? Am I mistaken? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yep, 8. Titus will be the 8th.
Are you talking about Gould doing that or Coombs doing that?
Ghoul doing that.
Yeah, he doesn't have a limit break anymore.
Oh, right. He LB Toto, didn't he?
Yes, he did. Yeah, we're just showing what we've discarded there. If there was a discard of the Coup Colin, then that's actually an interesting call because even though the Atmos isn't actually going to be going over the Warrior of Light, it could still attack and untap all of the backups. Using the
Yes.
Coup Colin before the attack happens can then stop that all happening. So
Which is why I'm fairly sure it's a Sarah, because he has a Kryl in hand. Why would you not have discarded the Kryl? Especially with a water backup untapped.
he might be using the Earth CP for a Mist Dragon.
Maybe. But he also has a Kryl backup there. So I cannot see why you would have discarded the Kukullan over that Kryl. Like, I cannot think why.
Much of a muchness, I guess.
Maybe.
But we do see Araman come down and get rid of that Refia.
Refia, yeah. Which is unfortunate, but I don't think you care. I think at this point you're going for lethal.
Just got to keep that pressure on. I will say one of the big advantages of the current board state is that with pretty much all of forwards being your Warrior of Light, that Lunaf looks very good right now.
Yep. There's the Cerebus.
So here comes that Cerberus, probably to untap the back line.
I assume so. Just get a board presence out, stop that 7th point of damage.
Hmm. Once again, it is important to note that the Cerberus can't actually switch on unless two cards have been cast in the turn. So
Oh,
that
he cast the Cerberus with the as the second cast, meaning he's about to lose the Atomos trigger. So he's wondering, can I do anything to stack them between? And it's just like, no, unfortunately not, unless you cast the instant summon, which
there's
might be
no
valid. Which might be valid. He does have summon, so he
there's
untaps,
there isn't
and
really
yeah,
any summons worth casting except for the Mist Dragon. In fact, that's the only summon that's worth casting at the moment.
maybe the Hecatoncheir. Get rid of the
It's not worth
Pharos.
pitching the it's not worth pitching the two cards to do it first.
Well, no, no, no. You untap 5, you cast it. Oh, he did have it. So
It
why
did
didn't
have
he?
the
So why
Hecaton.
didn't he untap 5, cast it, then untap 2 with the Atomos? He would have been
That
2,
must have been what the judge call was about.
but he didn't do it.
Again, that's what we were thinking that would have been what the judge call was about. The Atmos going above the Cerberus ETB.
Maybe. So he would have had to use the Atomos first. But I thought they were competing. I would have assumed they would be at the same time.
It's largely because of things like because cast triggers tend to happen before ETB triggers.
Yes, yeah, yeah, yeah. It's a cast trigger. That is correct. Nope, that is absolutely it.
So here we're just going to see a Lena play and
Another
just go
Refia
ahead
since he
and
had
jam
it.
another Repia, which we knew that that was going to come back to come back to say hello. Go ahead and untap backups and draw a card. That is four Warrior of Light backups as well. So which means that that Refia not only has the ability to attack, but also to tucker forward at the same time. But in this particular spot, it actually looks like a death knell because the only way that Coombs can actually survive the attack would be switch on the Atmos, block, and then before damage, use the other three characters to switch on the Hippocampus.
Yeah.
But then
Tuck
you
it in
just get yourself
response.
tucked. So it looks like we are going to a game
Game
three.
3. Yeah. One each. Everything's reset.
We did mention
Oh,
this was going to be a long one.
oh, that was such a good climb back for Ghoul. Like that.
It did kind of seem like Coombs was sort of floundering on cards. That's why he was using a lot of
Leo.
his cards to dig deep.
Yeah, and when he went for
I
Leo, that spot, you knew that there was something. Being forced to play that Shantotto on the one forward just to get your Earth, get your Wind. That seemed like
One
a
thing I
very.
did notice in that last game though is I'm pretty sure I didn't see a single blue worm or Tomberry.
Yes, I think that is correct.
So that would be another reason why Coombs was so far behind in that situation because he wasn't seeing many of his freebies. He was just desperate to try and see any semblance of action.
Also, Daniel did take a new approach there and started to go a bit more aggressive. Like, dulling the Warrior of Lights to giving up your tuck to get that extra damage in with the Pharos.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's a sort of on the fly sort of thought process that you need to take in these sorts of matchups. You know that your opponent is going to be hitting you from a different axis. You know that they're playing a completely different game plan to what you're expecting or used to. How do you combat that? You change your strategy up. You become the aggressor. You have to become the aggro deck, even though you're normally the control deck.
Yeah. Which I really like about the Refugee deck that it can do in certain situations.
It's got the option to do so, absolutely. It is a little bit. tight on resources to be able to do that, but there's no reason why it can't just keep going in that fashion.
No, exactly. And we see good lineup of backups in hand. There's a Tyro, there's a Lena, there is a Sarah FFL.
I see a Kryl there as well, or probably not.
I'm not sure. I see Refia, I see Ark, Leviathan, sorry. I see
Looks
Faris.
like we're going straight into a Sarah FFL.
Yep, I'm assuming two Warrior of Lights, discarding one of them for the Lena.
That could potentially be seen as a risky play as well, because even though you are searching for two Warrior of Lights, and they do fix all of your colors,
You are losing two Warrior of Lights, but
you are potentially losing two Warrior of Lights against a deck that runs a Mist Dragon.
so it's going for Ark instead. Which is also a good
So I
move
think this
because
is
Wind is
probably
the
a
hardest generator for that deck, so you can still King Tycoon technically if you get it off the top. But I'm wondering, does he play the Lena or not?
in this situation, I would probably say no.
Yeah,
Or just let the turn happen. Yeah, so we're gonna
Epitaph.
get to use the Epitaph, go get a mirror,
We see that
start playing the game.
just passes turn after searching. They're both taking their time, building their backups.
Looks like another Warrior of Light draw from Ghoul there.
Just going for the
We're gonna go
Tyro,
ahead and Spyro,
getting rid of Kusif and
Ichikusiv,
the Ark.
and Patriarch. We don't particularly care that much about the Arc at the moment, and as far as EX bursts go in the deck, it's not exactly a great one to
I think now you're
need.
grabbing. Yeah, I think he's grabbing the Une to possibly now play the Lena. Or to play something else. Or maybe just pass.
Yeah, so we're gonna go ahead and get the Lena. Passing is okay in this situation because you are still at five in hand,
Nope,
but
he does play the
looks like
Lena.
you looks like you are correct in that situation. He's just gonna go ahead and jam Lena. Try and get to his backups faster than Coombs can get to his.
Well, we've got a Philo in hand that he's struggling to cast in Coombs' hand. But he may grab.
May not struggle much longer if he
If he picks up the. Yeah.
picks up the Evray, but he is going to be losing three zombies to do it.
Yeah, he goes for the zombie. I don't think you worry about color fixing just yet. I think you go for the zombie play.
Yeah, it's a little bit of an awkward spot that, because you know you need the win CP to do a few of your plays,
Oh,
but on the
no,
flip
there is
side
a
of the
win. There's
coin,
King Tycoon. Yep.
there we go. And that was the King Tycoon that I was talking about just before, the 5 cost one.
Yes. Which is probably why he hesitated to play it just then. He might have wanted to hold on to it for that big, epic final swing.
For
But,
the game-ending turn.
yeah, but no, gets.
But we're just going to go ahead and ramp out a bunch of backups.
Yep, gets rid of Blue Worm to play the Lot Bunny. Lopry, whatever it is. I call it Lot Bunny.
Let's lopper it.
Loperet, whatever. I will someday learn the names. It's not today, it may not be tomorrow, but someday. Here comes Luneth with the Tyro, yep. And just pass.
Okay. Good case of uh, great ramping from both
Problem
players, actually.
is, you're one short on the wall. Oh,
You are one color short.
but that may not be an issue for long, depending on how slow this game goes. Oh, we got a Matoya. Does he want to get rid of the bin?
That might be what he was checking for just before.
Yeah, he was looking at the bin. Nope, let's get
We're
a
going to go
card
ahead and
draw.
start kick things off with a Tom Berry.
Let's just dig for a moment, then I can decide. See what I get, see what I don't get. Yeah, Daniel's just spreading them out.
Yeah, we're going to
Yeah,
just
there
go
we
ahead and
go.
Matoya and just eat that break zone.
You've got.
No additional resources for you, kind sir. Now, if we are concerned about needing or not needing Shintoro, the Loppert is a breakable backup, so he can just go ahead and crack that, draw the two, put one back, and then Shintoro straight afterwards.
And I believe Ghoul just got his King Tycoon. Is it? I can't. Yep.
The Macho Man himself.
So searches for a card, and Wall is coming out next turn.
Warrior of Life for maximum value. So we're just going to go ahead and search for a letter. Might need that special.
I'm
Not right
wondering.
now, but at
Yeah,
some
I'm
stage.
wondering. Would it have been better to get the Farret? Oh no, he's casting something with it. That's why.
Oh, he's going to play the ref here,
Yeah.
and then he's going to untap a few backups.
Yep.
He gets to untap
More
three
than a
backups.
few. No card draw, unfortunately.
Well, that's okay. He's now in a situation where he can hold up another Sarasu.
Yep. Which I cannot see if he has or not.
I think there's actually three copies of Warrior of Light in his hand.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, but I'm like, really? Oh no. But he still bluffs.
You absolutely bluff it. At the
Yeah.
same time as well, you can also stop the Tomberry from doing anything. I believe I saw a Ku Cullen in hand as well. Whereas on Coombs' side of the fence, we are holding our cards close to our chest.
I see Zombie, the one he got, obviously. I think I see the Cleaver Hippocampus. Uh, yeah, very close to the chest. I'm not sure. That's Hippocampus in the middle there. Zombie. Oh, I can't see anything else. But yes, for people who are wondering, we did end up, purely by coincidence, having a full Daniel Goulias feature match all the way through.
A little bit of pomp and circumstance for our American Nightmare.
Yeah, I made the joke that he hadn't moved all day after the top cut.
Well, it's a big advantage from his perspective because he could just sit down and chill out for the whole
Yes.
thing, really.
Well, here's the other thing. He has the advantage coming into this, which probably was very helpful. Was Coombs' last match also went for a significant amount of time, and Daniel was able to get a good, almost full hour of rest.
Yeah, so in that particular scenario, you kind of just think like how long did Coombs have to have his own rest after
I believe they gave
everything that
him.
happened
I
in
believe
his
they
own
gave.
game?
I believe I could be wrong, but they gave him a good 10 minutes.
That's understandable. Going for a Noctis is an interesting call.
What do you get back? The
He's going to go get the Gao
Gao.
back.
I feel like this is not a good sign for
It doesn't
Coombs.
look good if Coombs is going ahead to do that, but I think he might have actually flipped over one
I was
too
gonna
many
say, did he?
limit break.
Yeah, I was gonna look back at that. I'm like, is that 3 limit break for the 2 limit break? I couldn't tell. It was very quick, but it looked like 3.
Potentially. I mean, accidents happen.
Yep. Again, stressful situation, tired situation.
Yep, so we're just going to go ahead and jam the zombie, pick up the
Getting that
mirror,
mirror, 0 cost. Beautiful. And make my
rinse
Gao
and
cost
repeat.
1 less. So even better.
And
Just gonna
then we could just
tuck
go ahead and send that Noctis
Noctis
away.
back home.
Be gone.
He did his job.
So another Lev 6 is the draw there.
Again, I don't think that's bad. That's bad for Daniel in this matchup. I think normally you'd be terrible, but in this matchup you're fine.
Yep, so
Here
we got a
comes
Warrior of Light
one
play
of
here.
one of the 3, and there's a Cryol in hand as well. I don't know if we saw that before.
I think that was freshly drawn.
Yep, so Kryl, and I think that's King Tycoon.
Also freshly drawn.
Now, here's the biggest trouble for Ghoul right now. He does not have a limit break deck, technically. He cannot use a limit break deck. He needs to so ham fist or rely and depend on that Shantotto that he cannot use any limit break. So even when he's in a bad spot or has all the resources in hand and can Luna Freya, it is actually a bad move to do that in this matchup.
Yeah, but what isn't a bad move is just going ahead and getting rid of that mirror. Looks like we're just
Not
sending that
bin.
to the bottom of the deck because we also know that two of the zombies went down there as well. So I think the decision is just whether or not he's going to
Oh, they're
just
putting
sack
it
the
in
mirror
bin.
set, and that looks like that's the case. So now the Tomberry cannot die.
Yep.
Go ahead, untap some backups, and I believe that was a Zidane draw.
Oh, he's
We'll go
going for the
ahead and
swing.
charge in with the Warrior of Lights.
We've got the indestructible Tonberry there, so I don't know why you don't, unless your cards are really that. Oh, I guess he's got the tuck. There's no point.
He does have the Raffia play, and he's
Oh, and
still
now he's
got the
swinging.
Raffia play even now.
Yes, because he's got the Warrior of Light untapped. Well, he's also got the Warrior of Light to ping it as well, so he's got two ways to kill it.
Well, the Warrior of Light can't actually kill the Tomberry in that instance because it is indestructible essentially.
Ah, yeah, so you'd
But
have to rely on the tuck.
it can get tucked away with the Raffia, which is, I believe, what the thought process is at the moment. So it looks like Coombs is just thinking whether or not it's actually worth switching on the Tomberry, which
Yeah.
which he looks like he's going to go ahead and do so. Um, he's going to go ahead and attempt a block.
Oh, Cucullin!
He's switching off the text box. So the Tomberry just goes away without needing to tuck anything away.
And he's still got the tuck, and he still has the Warrior of Light. And he drew a Cucullin off the Cucullin.
Uh,
Just
two
winning.
chugga kuka lane.
Just winning. Go to discard pass. Oh, that was a good turn play for him.
And again, this is just another one of those situations where it's just I've got all of the resources in the world, but because my opponent's not actually playing anything, I don't need to use them.
Yep. Replacing
And
that
here comes another
Tonberry.
Tomberry.
Oh, that Mist Dragon's a good top deck. That can come useful down the road.
It can.
And again, Daniel only committing two forwards onto the field at one time, dodging that Shinryu, even though he knows one's in damage. He's still got two more to contend with.
You absolutely do.
Like, I don't even think he plays the Zidane next turn. Unless he's really going for the aggro and is not worried.
Well, there's two sort of thought processes when it comes to that Zidane. It's the first one is, do you reveal the Shinryu off of the Zidane play? And the second one is, do you take cards to try and like to sort of
Middle of the
prevent
deck.
the situation out? But then do you also accidentally draw Coombs into a Shinryu?
Exactly. Which is why I don't think you would play it out unless you're going really heavy into the aggro. Which he might be. It won him game 2. There's the Hippocampus.
So Hippocampus can currently do 4K to the board.
And there's Gao.
So Gao's just going to send that Raffia away. The question is,
Does
does
Refia send that Gao
Gould,
back? Yep.
which it looks like is the case. So tuck for tuck, it seems.
And he says top. Looks like he's going to go for that damage. And now Zidane is safe to come out.
He is indeed.
Drew another Zidane.
I think that's another Zidane there, yeah.
Yep.
So we're going to go ahead
And
and
just drop him
jam a
down.
Zidane.
Oh, and it is a
There is a
Shinryu.
Shinryu. So there we go. We can go ahead and take a Shinryu and then we don't need to worry about that anymore. We can just keep that off the table. And
3 relevant cards, though. He's going for them.
Yep,
He's
it
going
looks
for.
like he's taking the Mist Dragon, but he's also drawing the
Go.
Gao afterwards.
Well, he's got the swing in as well, so I don't think he cares about that.
It hits a Sarah, and there we go. So do we take the Gao or do we take the Shinryu? Looks like we take the
Yeah.
Mirror. That's an interesting call.
Well, he's got the other Zidane in hand, right? He's only got 2 forwards out, so the Shinryu's not a big worry. That Shinryu was only going to be a worry if he had the Refure out still. So I think
That
from his
is
point of view, he's
very
just...
true.
Yeah,
And
he's
there's just another
another
discarded
discard.
pass.
Yeah, so I think
Just
Shinryu
going
doesn't
for that.
matter. Gao doesn't matter because he's probably going to... He's both the cards on the field. He has two Warrior of Light in hand and 1 Zidane in hand. So that Gao is basically giving him another cast of a Haster.
Yeah, I got spares.
Yeah, it's literally that Gao does nothing right now.
Not just that, it also costs CP to do.
Yeah, it's not free at the moment. It's a 2 cost. Well, he's got another... I believe he drew either a Tomberry or a Blue Worm, one of the two. I couldn't see which. So it is going to be cheaper.
It will be cheaper in a moment. Just
Let
double
me look
checking
at
what we've got removed from
Exile.
the game.
Yeah.
Another key to note is that that Une that's gone is the only Une in Ghoul's deck.
Yes. We had 2 in the original build, and one Une and 1 Golbears turned into the 2 Terrors. I believe in, if I'm remembering it correctly. Yeah, it was Blue Worm.
Go ahead and Blue Worm, draw a card.
Now Gao costs 1 instead of 2.
And Gao can go ahead and tuck away that Warrior of Light too.
Yep.
Although knowing that what we know, that's probably not the ideal play.
Well, there is no ideal play here, I don't think, besides. But, yeah, you still play to your outs.
Always play to one's outs. So
He's paying 2 for the Gao. Does he not
you should only be
realize?
paying 1 for that Gao.
I don't think they realize yet. I think he's got it in his head that it costs 2. He forgot about the Blue Worm reduction. Yeah, again, stressful game. Game 3 of a long day. Yeah, it's...
And just go ahead and tuck away the Zidane.
Yeah, we're going to see mistakes being made, guys. Like, that's just the nature of the beast.
Yeah, especially since because the event here was actually a fair amount smaller than most other events, we decided that we would just do the top cut within the one, like we'd do the whole event in one day.
All the events have been done in one day this year, I believe, because we've been wanting to do the day 2 for the regionals. So that was a common change. Yeah, just plays the card out.
That's the name. I believe the Gold Coast one was a 2-day event. There's the double Shinryu.
No, it
So
wasn't.
that's a handful of sweepers.
Yep, there it
There we
goes.
go. Take that Hecaton.
Yep.
Draw a card.
Gold Coast was not. This year, all of them have been day 1s.
Oh,
Oh,
there
no,
we go.
you are right, actually. No, because it was done at the same time as the regionals, and that's where people were a little bit upset. No, you are correct. I apologize.
There we go. And Ghoul's just saying, yeah, you can just have those cards. Or
Oh,
no,
no,
he's
it's
just taking
staying
a
in the Shinryu.
Shinryu.
You might as well.
And there we go. So now we don't need to worry about the Shinryu at all. And even though the Araman is not going to be doing anything to this board state, it's good to see that you don't need to worry about that either.
Yeah. Some relevant damage on Ghoul's side. To Ghoul's done to Coombs.
A lot of high impact, high power cards
Yeah.
going into that damage zone. But yeah,
But
it's
I'm
just another
guess.
case of discard pass.
But I'm also guessing in a deck that has such high power cards in general, you're just going to be hitting all good stuff. But
That is also true.
Yeah. Coombs is not out. Like, he's taken a bit of damage here and he hasn't done a point back, but he's not out. He's still got a board full of monsters. He's got relevant bodies and he's got a handful of cards.
But he's also got to contend with that Shintoto in the limit break zone, which can indeed come out of nowhere.
Yes, that is true. Ghoul has not pulled his trump card yet. The one trump card that he has.
One of one.
One of one.
I do actually remember when people were when that Shintoto was spoiled and people were opening packs for the set. They would pull pull the Shintoto and it's just like, cool, got my play set.
Yeah. A lot of the LBs right now are one or two playsets because of the LB factor. I still go for three because I might as well have three.
Yeah, I like to go for three copies as well, just because it's fun to have a true play set.
Yeah. It also means you can deck build easy because it means I can have three decks with Shantotto in them instead of one and have to move it around.
Yeah, that is true. Unfortunately, not true in a double deck format, but it is true in this situation.
Oh, well, we know that's a special case.
There are actually people in the community that are more interested in doing double deck as the standard format for major events. Like not just for continentals or national level events, but also for things like Materia Cups.
Oh, sacking the Lopri.
So this is very likely going to be resulting in a Shintoto play.
Yep, it is in hand. Are we going to have the reverse? Are we going to have Shantotto into the reverse Shantotto? Three, yep. Here it comes.
There we go. Pitches the spare Shintoto. Plays the OG.
I got rid of the full art to play the normal one? What a
I
world.
think that's emotion just to spite you, isn't it?
Oh, no, it's fine. I don't mind. But I know a few people that are going to be upset at that.
Yep.
But yep, they moved.
Going to the correct zones there.
Yep. But yeah, that was a good blowout. And there's the
Yeah.
mirror. Good follow
Yep.
up.
Still got that one little card. And right into a blue worm to draw another card.
Oh,
Or
no,
into
no,
the
no, no.
Atmos.
Into the Atmos. Yeah. But if he plays it right now, he's really, really just asking for that Shantotto.
Yeah, let's sort of hold on to that one. Which it
Straight
looks like is
pass. Yeah.
being done there.
There's that Amat he needed a turn earlier. No, he's got two Amat, so he did have Amat technically, he just couldn't cast it.
I think he double drew
He double
two
drew Amat.
Amaterasu that turn. Yeah.
Is that an Amat or is that an Arc? I'm seeing a bit of green there. No, it is, it is. Yeah, he might have
Yeah.
double Amatted. That's gotta be like salt in the wounds right now.
So here the
He's got
question becomes whether or not Ghoul can actually play the Shintoto, but then play a Haster straight afterwards, which doesn't look like is the case.
no, because all he has is the Warrior of Light, which might be the play. He's got a spare one, so why not?
Yeah, so we're just gonna go ahead and jam that Warrior of Light.
He's got a Cucullin,
Draw a
I think.
card.
He's got two Amis. That was a Lunith, so he's got to
Oh,
discard.
we know he's still sitting on the Cucullin that he drew off of the Cucullin.
Yeah. And I think that's two Kusiths in hand as well. Yep, I might as
Or
well just start jamming in.
added insult to insult. In we go. So now it's just a double check of what's left. Question is, are we going to see a repeat of the previous play?
I think we are, but that mirror makes it a different play. Because mirror's going to make it indestructible. So even if he Cucullins, they're just going to stare at each other.
Yeah, he's just got ahead and blocks with the mirror though.
Yep. Discard that Lunith pass. Oh, it discards two cards. Yes, it discards two cards. Yeah, one Amat and one Ludith in the pit. Oh,
Well, what else is in Ghoul's hand that is actually worth keeping in that situation? So, yeah,
Kukullan, the Kusiths. Yeah, it's just all good.
all good cards. So,
It's all gravy.
Pitch and Amat also sort of telegraphs that you have another one. Is sort of my main concern there. But
Yeah, but like you said, and I assume that one instant hesitation is like, do I risk the LB? No, no, do not risk the LB.
well, the situation now is that I'm pretty sure Coombs has got 6 or 7 cards in hand in his own right, so he would actually have to commit to board.
Yeah. Also, discarding the Kusiths would have been bad. You need the Earth CP for the Shantotto. That's why he also
That is
did the
all.
Ami.
That's
Just
also
occurred to
very
me.
true. You don't need fire CP for a Shintoto.
No. So that's also why I think he needed to hold on to the Kusiths.
We'll see. We'll see what happens as we keep going.
I like that I'm mispronouncing Kusith but not Kukullan. My brain is yelling at me, but no one's going to accept me saying Kushi.
I don't think anybody cares.
Oh, I've had people yell at me for mispronunciation, and then I've had to correct them, going, "No, I'm actually using the original pronunciation."
Yeah, let's go back to Celtic and was it Celtic, Irish, Welsh
Yeah,
folklore and
the Gaelics.
find the correct pronunciations of cards of mythical creatures in their folklore.
Well, it also
So
helps that
yeah,
I heard the actual original stories, so I'm used to the. It's more specifically them because I heard the original stories from uh, Irish speaking people, so I'm used to hearing the actual pronunciation. All right, he's
that helps as
committing.
well. So here comes the Atmos. That's cast number 1 for anybody that's keeping count.
You always play it first because it doesn't see itself enter, so you will whiff if you play it second.
And that is correct.
Coombs is really trying to think of a way through this. He's just killed. He's killed two Zidanes and one Warrior of Light so far.
And the thought process is just they just keep coming.
What started off as a bad hand for Daniel has come in clutch. It's like, yeah, I can play three Warrior of Lights in the one game. Why not? They keep dying.
Let's just Kusith back another one and go for the fourth.
Yeah, he's got two, so technically he can go for the fifth.
At some point, you just use the Warrior of Light as a card draw spell. You don't even need to. I think we're also now starting to
Think about that,
realize that
Leo.
we may have over limit broken the Noctis there.
I don't think they have. I think he's just counting what he has left. I think that thought process is long gone.
Yeah, either way, both players missed it.
Yep.
Warning for both, game loss for both.
Yep,
Good start,
go to game 4.
game 4.
Well, that would be the result. You keep going while there's still time in the round until you get a result.
Sudden death. 1 point of damage is all it takes.
Well, no, Timeless doesn't have sudden death either. You just keep playing. You can have matches that go to game 500 in a Timeless.
Oh, oh, I know. I'm just having a bit of a joke around.
Yeah, well, which rules have sudden death? Is there application? Is it timed or is it something else?
Um, I think there are some games that do have a sudden death rule involved in them, but I don't know of many of them. If here's a fun little experiment for the people watching. Have a dump in the comments of any of the card games that do involve a sudden death rule, where one point of damage or 1 point of life loss is enough to score a result.
If that's the case, Coombs has the advantage here. Alright, so just a lot of thinking, a lot of mathing, a lot of how do I get through this, how do I do this, how do I beat this. I'm wondering if a Leo is coming out some point soon. Yep, that's why he was
Yeah,
looking
it
at his
looks
LB.
looks like we're just gonna go ahead and jam a Leo. So
No, he's
that's
going for the...
oh,
Oh! Well, if there's a time for that, I'm at.
that's a bold strategy, Cotton.
So if I remember correctly, I haven't played Titus often. You can make them pay the 3, then Amat?
That is correct. In this scenario, however, he's had to switch on 2 of his monsters to actually make the Tidus trigger enter the stack in the first place.
Did he do it?
He's gone ahead and paid the 3.
Yeah. He's picking his
So
targets.
so Warrior of Light's at bottom. Probably thinking which of the colored backups is more important. In this situation, you probably want to target the Luneth
I was going to
to
say
the
the
top of there.
non-water. You want to target the non-waters. Yep, Lunith.
Yeah, but the Luneth also gives access to haste.
Yep.
But here comes that Amaterasu.
Oh,
But here
wait.
comes that Mist Dragon to respond.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
Oh, that was good. That was good, Coombs.
and
Oh, Daniel's just
that's
sitting
the
there going,
punishment for not hanging on to that second Amaterasu.
oh,
But question is, does Ghoul have himself a Mist Dragon of his own? No, he does not. It's just gonna happen.
yep.
So
But we do know all that's going to do in this point is just bring out that Shantotto.
that is the likely end result of all of that. But at the very least, there's going to be 2 sets of attacks happening here. Well, at the very least one, because the blue worm is going to
Going
go
to
in. I think
die.
the Atmos came down this turn, so that's not going to happen.
Yep. No, no point. Just take the damage, right?
You do just take the damage here.
What's he thinking? What's going on in that brain, Ghoul?
Is he maybe thinking about switching off the text box for the blue worm?
That's a bad thing, isn't it?
Well, it means it may not die, I think. No, he's just going to go
Yeah,
ahead
yeah.
and let the Luneth happen. So here comes a zombie,
Oh, no
and that's
bursts.
it. A Pharos. Yeah, he's sort of lamenting not switching on the wrong forward, the wrong monster there.
He can tap the 3 to activate the hippo.
He can. It's not going to get him any value, but he can do it. And there we go. He's just going to let that happen and pass the turn. Because
Yep.
obviously those cards are more valuable in the break zone than they are in the RFG pile. I
Oh,
think
he's
also
drawn the terror.
drawn 2 more. Yeah, I think he's just drawn 2 more non-Earth cards, actually. So he's drawn Terror, and I think he's actually drawn both Terrors.
Do you still just Shantotto at this point?
Do you have the resources? That's the question.
Well, we know he does because he's got the Warrior of Light and the 2 Kusiths.
That is true, but does that become worth it?
That's what I'm wondering. That's the math I'm doing right now. I guess you
I
also
mean,
need to take consideration how much deck does Coombs have left. Yep,
it
he's
looks like
going
we
for
are
it.
just going to go ahead and go for it.
Yeah,
So we're just
because
going to
yeah,
pitch the 2 Crucists.
if your opponent is low on deck, resetting is not the worst thing.
Yeah, and it is 2 Terrors that he's drawn for the turn there. We are seeing some pretty effective back and forth play here, actually, from both decks.
Yep.
This is a true fight to the finish.
I think they were just checking that everything went to RFG.
Yeah,
That
the
that
cheater's just got to
Titus is
go
in
for
the
the
wrong
OB
zone,
blast.
but it's in an exile. It still counts.
It's in an RFG pile or a pile that doesn't happen. But
That's
just
not
gonna go ahead and
interactable.
pick up a mirror. Gonna pick up a play that Evray there. We're gonna probably go ahead and untap the Earth CP to go ahead and play the mirror for nothing.
Yep.
Yep, there we go.
So let's see.
Suddenly board state. That's another zombie.
Well, we knew that
It's a
was on the bottom. We know the
shame.
bottom three cards.
Yep. So we're gonna go ahead and get the blue
So
worm.
that looks like two cards left. So again, he's in the situation where he has six cards left in deck.
That is dire. We're gonna see a deck out finish in the finals.
Are we? That's the question. Oh, we're not sure yet. He is on 5 damage.
Yeah, but it looks like he's going to go ahead and just get the zombie because you don't want to risk drawing more cards when you don't have many left.
Yeah.
So we'll just play another zombie, pick up the
Other mirror.
another mirror.
And here's the thing.
And then pass the turn.
Daniel's only on 2 damage. He can just really relax right now.
Mhm.
There's
Oh,
another Amat.
really? There's another ammo.
Oh, he still has to protect, right? He still has to do the defensive line, but I think that's what his game plan is. You don't need to push. You just build the defensive line right now. We also have only seen, I think, one Refia. We've seen two Luniths, two Pharises, sorry. We haven't seen Ark yet, but Ark's not online yet. Yeah, it's
Arc
just...
is not
Oh,
useful.
he is. He's just pushing the damage.
Yep, absolutely. They put the pressure on. You know the Coombs does not have much deck left. So the more resources that Coombs spends to defend himself is the less resources he can use to fight back with.
Yeah, I guess you drop the Terror now. Oh, no.
Well, you can just play a backup.
Oh, and now he's got the Warrior of Light back online. Alright, I didn't
Yep,
see that Ingus in hand. Alright, yeah, that's definitely the choice there, because now you got the Warrior of Light coming out next. And obviously, if you take the 2 damage now from the zombies, they kill themselves, so you're not worried.
absolutely.
There's the mirror.
Here comes the mirror again.
Oh, can you
So
fail
he's
to
gonna
find on
go.
the mirror?
No, he can't.
You can't. But it's odd number
So
into an even number.
he's got the blue worm,
Yeah.
so he can go ahead and do that.
Oh,
And he's just gonna go ahead and shuffle the remaining cards. He's like, well, there's no
yeah.
point in me sorting them.
Coombs is in a bad spot.
And even now, it's like, does he just play the blue worm and draw a card and just hold
I
up defenses
I would on 3, because odd number doesn't matter. You might as well draw the one card.
and go to an even number?
Yeah. And at least you have the blue worm out.
And there's the blue worm. So in effect, Coombs has got 4 blockers for 2 attackers, but he can't actually attack back.
5 blockers. Oh,
Yeah, he's just gonna go ahead. Oh, there we go. So he's just going deep, and here comes the Amaterasu. There it is. I think he just pitched the last warrior. No, he's pitched a terror to do that.
can
Yep.
the... What's the cost? Oh, yeah, Shantora's only a 4 cost. That's right.
Yeah.
I was trying to remember. For some reason, I was thinking it was a 6, but it's like, no. That's the extra cost. That's the extra for the ability.
So I think what Coombs is contemplating right now is whether or not he switches on
Monsters
one
gets
of
an
his other
attack in.
monsters to get an attack in, but it seems like he's opting out of that choice. I personally would have
I would have done it.
potentially
Evray.
switched on the Evray.
Song with the Evray.
You do sort of have to try and push, even though you are in a losing situation at the moment. You do have to go ahead and try and push that lethal. Like you have to try and push for damage. You don't have a great deal of choice.
No, I would have done it. I would have activated the Evray and swung. Hell, I would have activated the zombies and swung.
Looks like he's going to go ahead and do that
Yep.
now. He's gonna try and push. There's
Second
another Paris.
Paris. Oh, Daniel's like in his head, like, where are my bursts? I know I run them.
I
Yeah,
don't think he really needs to worry about the bursts at the moment. So here comes another zombie.
I'm at.
There's an Amaterasu.
Yeah, getting that Evray in right now would have been very good.
Yeah, put to 5.
If you're going to put him
With
to 3, you might as well put him to 5. I know there are damage 5 cards, but not in the current situation.
I'm not in the Warrior of Light deck at all.
No. So if you're going to put him to 3, you might as well put him to 5 for free.
Yeah, so it was might have been a sign of a misplay there. Not switching on the not switching on the Evray and going in for another point. If you're going to go ahead and just attack anyway, it may have just been worth it.
Why is that Shintaro? Oh, he's using the Evray. Right.
Use the Evray to untap it. So
Yeah.
like the only thing I could potentially think about is now it's a case of can Ghoul draw a Refia? Because a Refia will win the game on the spot. There goes the zombies.
We know Warrior of Light is coming out. And what were
Warrior of
those?
Lights.
That's
So it's a lev 6, so that's potentially good enough.
yeah.
So you could play the Warrior of Light, start swinging in, and then if Coombs goes ahead and tries to do the whole, oh, this is an indestructible monster, you can just
Just bounce
lev
it.
6.
But what else did he do? So
Or,
Cook.
oh, even better, just switch off the text box for the mirror straight away, so you can't.
So sack it in response.
Actually, sacking it in response will be a very poor call in this situation because you do need to have as many blockers as you can get your hands on.
You are. You're
You
trading a
know,
blocker for a blocker, though, aren't you? Oh no, he's yeah. You're right. Okay, I would have just traded a blocker for a blocker.
no, you just let that one happen because you know that even 1 point of damage getting through is your game over.
All right.
You are literally going down to the final cards in your deck. So
Did he
having the additional blocker is absolutely
discard?
paramount
Yeah,
here.
discarding his hand
So
to
lev 6 and then pick up Warrior of Light,
light.
perhaps.
Yeah. Now you have to sack it.
Now it's back in
Oh
hand.
no, he's just putting it to hand. He's not sacking it.
Yep, and then just play Warrior of Light, draw a card.
And did he? No way. He got it.
Oh,
He
he got
got
the
the
letter
Lena.
special to bring back a Refia.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, oh, how
Give it
can you
brave.
do, kind sir? Yep, give it brave. Untap 4 Warriors of Light, draw a
Draw a
card.
card.
See, this is the kind of game that we live for, folks.
Oh, that was amazing. Swing, yeah,
Go
and
ahead
Coos
and
is
let's
like,
just let it
nah,
happen. We
just,
just let it happen
yeah.
at that stage, and there we
Oh,
have it.
our winner, Daniel Gullius, for Materia Cup Adelaide 2024.
Congratulations to the Ghoul, the man, the myth, the nightmare, the legend himself.
Oh, that was very interesting, very intense group of games.
Yeah, and exactly what we were talking about before. How do you attack in a different axis? You force them, like you make them draw additional cards, deck them out.
Yeah, that was so close to being a pure deck out instead of a damage. That could have gone either of the two options.
Yep, it's just one of those situations. You just got to push and push and push until you find that exact little spot where you can get yourself over the line.
But yeah, having that handful of Zidanes and Warrior of Lights, like in any other situation, that would have been terrible. But in this specific one, it's the best hand to have.
in this exact spot, only this exact spot.
But kudos to Coombs, that Mist Dragon on the Amat protecting the Titus. That was a beautiful play.
Uh, some just some phenomenal play on both sides, to be honest. Everybody everybody was doing exactly what they wanted to do. We got to see actually a true showcase of both decks doing what they want to do.
Yeah, there was no blowout or just pure, I've got advantage, you are on the back foot, you don't get to do your thing. Both
Yeah,
players were doing their thing, it just one did it better.
and
But
the person that did it better is our Materia Cup Adelaide champion. So once again, congratulations to Ghoul. We will
congratulations.
see you on the flip side.
Yep, we won't keep you guys too long. It's been a big slog, so thank you for staying tuned and watching throughout this game. Once again, press all the good buttons at the bottom. If you haven't subbed, please do. It does help the channel a lot. Leave a comment. I'm happy to hear from other people and get feedback. Otherwise, thank you for thank you for co-commentating with me, Bloodfist. Really do appreciate it.
I absolutely appreciate being alongside for the ride.
All right, take care, guys. Bye.
Take it easy.